Only a few weeks after the Germans invaded our area, my father was killed. I unfortunately had to watch when he was taken away from our house, only to be found riddled with bullets a few hours later.
I'm Barbara Gozer. I'm a survivor of World War II. I'm the only member of my family that survived the Holocaust. I have no siblings. Everyone in my family was executed.
They organized 2,000 men at a time to move us further west by train in cattle cars. We were about 100 men into each cattle car, no room to sit down, no food, no water, no toilet facilities for 3 days and 4 nights. People were dying there from hunger or just from standing still all the time.
The star was forced on Jews in many countries of Europe. They had to wear it to identify them as Jews, which of course made their lives very, very difficult. This case here contains a number of different artifacts. There's a ration booklet and a work identification card and all kinds of things.
We are also fortunate to have in our collection some of the original street lights installed in the museum.
The first use of power in Winnipeg was to power up 4 street lights such as those above me, and they were located on Main Street between the CNR station and the CPR station.
Вся земля величає.
The items that we have here that relate to Louis Riel are one-of-a-kind, unique items you're not going to find anywhere. For instance, this cap, it was taken and it was rotated to cover Louis Riel's face. So this is what he was wearing when he was executed. One of the items that we have here that people find the most interesting related to Louis Riel is, of course, his coffin. This is the original coffin in which Riel's body was placed immediately after his execution. This coffin was used in Regina, in which his body was shipped from Regina to St. Boniface. The family then took possession of the body in the coffin, placed the body in a second coffin which was made out of metal, which had a piece of plate glass over the face so people could pay their respects as they passed by in the days before the actual funeral. The Red River cart was the principal means of land transportation on the Canadian prairie prior to the arrival of the railways. As you can see, the Red River cart wasn't particularly large. In the era before the arrival of the railways, metal was actually hard to come by. In the early fur trade period, metal was so rare that if fur traders were abandoning a fur trade post or a house or what have you, they would burn the building down in order to rake up all the nails and the hardware so they could use it next time around. And the choir loft almost took up half of the floor space, relative to what was going on down below. So this is where the nuns came, they sang, etc.
No matter what anybody says, this was the birthplace of Manitoba. Louis Riel was from St. Vital. Hey, never heard of the contest and never heard of Miss Sargent. So if anybody knows who this is, we sure would like to know. And it was in duty until 1969. Some people from the Historical Society retrieved it So we've had it here ever since, and we're slowly restoring it.
I was just going to get the motor running, and then one thing led to another. The motor didn't just get running.
No visit to Winnipeg would be complete without a visit to the Countess of Dufferin, the first steam locomotive in Western Canada,